Zach Laws, Tom O'Brien, and Charlie Bright. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with reading off the nominees. Returning, we have Wanda Sykes for Blackish, and she submitted the season opener Juneteenth. Maya Rudolph for The Good Place, for The Burrito. Jane Lynch for Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Put that on your plate. I can't really do the voice. Tiffany Haddish for SNL. Tina Fey for SNL. And then Molly Shannon for Will and Grace at Island Fairy. So let's start with Tom. Who's going to win?
I'd said yes, there are probably 4 actresses who are in the mix, but for me at least, I think it's a 2-woman race between Tiffany Haddish and Jane Lynch for 2 very, very different performances, and both wonderful.
I agree.
Yeah, it's surprising to me how well Jane Lynch fits into a period show. She has always seemed to me so contemporary, but she completely pulls off the character and really makes it feel like it's in the period.
And I think I saw this before I saw Tiffany Haddish, and my initial thought was she's going to win an Emmy. Like, that was my first thought, was like, she's in this fat suit doing this kind of really vaudevillian stand-up set, which is hilarious. And then we see her in this grand dress in like her mini Buckingham Palace being waited on by this crazy amount of staff. And it's still very funny. It's really, he really is the center point of this episode.
Yeah. And she has an arc, which is very important, I think, when actors take a look at a performance. It's not the same thing for 30 minutes.
What do you think, Zach, about Jane Lynch as this vaudeville comedian?
Oh, well, I think she's wonderful in the role, and I do think she has a fighting chance of winning, especially if Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is one of the front runners, along with Atlanta, to win Best Comedy Series. I mean, I think this would be a good indication of, what the show's chances are. Because as of now, all of the talk about acting winners has solely been focused on Rachel Brosnahan, with little hints of Alex Borstein and maybe a little bit of Tony Shalhoub as well. But if they can pick up a victory here as well, I think that would bode well for their chances on the primetime night. Now, I think we should point out, though, and also, I mean, Jane Lynch is a former Emmy winner, so that helps. She is certainly popular. In fact, she's got, what, 4 Emmys? She just won one last year for dropping the soap in the short form race. So they definitely love this woman.
And she's nominated for host again. So we definitely know she's liked. Yep. Yeah.
But I should, you point out that the last 2 years in a row, this award has gone to a Saturday Night Live host.
Or hosts.
Yes, hosts. So I think, Tiffany Haddish definitely, she's got that combination of, number one, being in a show that they vote for in this category over and over again, but also, being a hot new thing. I mean, she's had The Carmichael Show. She's had The Last OG. She's had a New York Film Critics Circle Award-winning turn in the film Girls Trip.
I wish her speech was online, because the critics who were in there have written about her 18-minute speech. Basically, it's like, you do another movie, we'll give you another award. We'll just keep inviting you back. We'll just keep awarding her to have her back in the room. So,
but yeah, my instinct says it's between those 2 women. But I mean, I'm going to take a wild guess at which other 2 you're saying have a chance of winning this. I think one is Molly Shannon for Will and Grace. Will and Grace didn't do well overall in the nominations, but she stood out. They submitted about 8 performers in this category, and she was the only one that got nominated. So, and for a broadly comic performance, and she's a woman who I think has built up a lot of goodwill and showed off her range quite a bit. But also, and this is probably just wishful thinking on my part, but Maya Rudolph in The Good Place, I don't think she's never won an Emmy before. Am I correct?
I don't think she has.
Let me check this.
She might have a writing one if she does have anything.
She's got 2 nominations. One of them is for The Good Place. The other one is for Saturday Night Live.
Was it writing? Was it right?
No, guest actress in this category. So,
all right.
You were close. But, I think that she could have a fighting chance. I mean, The Good Place, it's popular with the actors finally.
What about Tina Fey? Tina Fey was SNL submission. They did not submit Tiffany Haddish, which was a mistake. We should also point out for Tiffany Haddish, she is the first African-American female comedian to host, and she killed. She came to win, and the show up until that point had taken some hits for not making fun of the Harvey Weinstein scandal. And he's like, he's a New Yorker. I don't want to pick on him. And to be fair, that's when there was like 5, not 50. Mm-hmm. But Tiffany Haddish came out there and gave the best monologue of the season, and then won. Every sketch, she was center focused. She wasn't just another player. But they did submit Tina Fey. Charlie, what do you think?
I mean, it's tough. I really think that Tiffany Haddish is out front. Jane Lynch, she can never count out. But I want to piggyback off of Zach's point here about Molly Shannon. She's just one of those actresses who seems like, she's just tailor-made for this category. You go beyond the performance she gives in Will and Grace, and you look at her history, being on SNL all those years. But even before that, I mean, she was a student of Juilliard. And in the past couple of years specifically, we've really gotten to see her range. I mean, we've all known about her comedic talent, but her performance in Other People, which she won a Spirit Award for.
Yes.
And even before that, Year of the Dog, she was magnificent in that. But we've also got to see her do great voiceover work on a show like Bob's Burgers, where she plays Millie, who's obsessed with the youngest Belcher child, Louise. And she's wonderful on that. Every time that I see that her character's coming back, I do like a little backflip in my mind, because obviously that ain't happening. But but she really shines. And the fact that she's one of those performers who just her presence you look forward to, I think could really bode well for her. There is a problem, though, in that I kind of see Maya Rudolph having that same sort of presence and goodwill.
And I think The Good Place had some goodwill that maybe Will and Grace doesn't really have as much, where it's like, The Good Place got nominated and that was a big story where, and I loved when she popped out. I was so excited to see her. She's so well suited for this kind of weird role,
like the ultimate judge in in all the afterlife, in all existence.
It was so charming, but I do wonder. And you speak about like a Juilliard actor. That's what Jane Lynch is playing, is somebody who went to Yale and then came up with this vaudeville character.
But if I'm not mistaken, didn't Tiffany Haddish and Maya Rudolph have a presenting turn at the Oscars this year?
Yes, they did.
And they killed, and a lot of people were saying, get them to host next year.
Oh my God. I think Tiffany Haddish, let's start the campaign for that Meryl Streep movie. I want to see Meryl Streep play Tiffany Haddish's mother. I don't care. I want to see it.
As long as it's not another Mamma Mia sequel, I'm fine with it.
I don't care if it's a Mamma Mia sequel. If Tiffany Haddish wants to sing and skip around Greece with her, I'm fine. I just think that would be an awesome combination. But as far as people who didn't know each other, who were presented together, they were so comfortable.
So in sync.
In that Alexander McQueen dress, which was smart. She knows how to work it.
We might see them in a movie together soon because of Maya Rudolph's husband. I think he really wants to work with.
Oh yes, that's exactly what I want to see. Tiffany Haddish and a Paul Thomas Anderson.
But remember,
That's
Paul Thomas
terrifying.
Anderson. No, it might not be terrifying because Paul Thomas Anderson did direct Adam Sandler's best performance.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
that
No,
actually,
that's a very good point. Yeah.
don't count that out as like, I think what, not to go off on a rant, but PTA just really harnessed everything that Adam Sandler could do and centered it and focused it in a way that made it really earnest and brilliant. He did get a Golden Globe nomination for that.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So I mean, but Tiffany Haddish, I would love to see it toned down a little bit. So that could be an interesting turn.
Yeah. Can we talk a little bit about Wanda Sykes?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up because
I don't like this episode. That's my problem. I
here's
really
what's
don't.
interesting though about so she did get nominated last year. She is an Emmy winner. She's a multiple nominee. And I wonder. There's also, this is a little insider baseball, but when the Roseanne debacle happened, she was the first person to quit off of that show. Like that day.
Kudos to her.
Yeah, the same day that it got canceled. So, I wonder if that might work in her favor a little bit.
I just really, this episode just, I don't know why. It just doesn't, it really grates on my nerves a little bit.
Juneteenth?
Juneteenth, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, no. But she's always the bright spot of the boardroom.
I really hope she gets her own show someday. With
I hope so. But she, and I don't mean to diminish it, but she brings the same thing every time.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish that they gave her a little more range because she's capable of it.
And all of her scenes are in that boardroom. It's really, she's not even like involved really in the show beyond that.
No.
See, I just want to pretend that she got nominated for Broad City.
Okay, we're not playing fantasy Emmys, but
Okay.
Not with that attitude, you're not.
okay, so let's go through and just say, who are your bottom three? We'll start with Charles.
Oh, bottom three?
Yeah, let's start with the bottom three.
Hold on here. Okay. I think my bottom three would be, this is a tough one because this is the one that I think is the most fun, but I can honestly see any one of them winning. I would say 6, Wanda Sykes, 5, Tina Fey, and 4, Maya Rudolph.
Okay. Zach.
Yeah, I hate to say it because I love Maya Rudolph so much, but I think that would be my ranking as well.
Tom?
That's my ranking too.
Yeah, I don't. Why are we so against Tina Fey? Let's just talk about that for a second. I mean, it wasn't just because she had a so-so outing.
Well, I think
it was. Well, to me, it was tough to put Tina Fey at my 5 because I want to put her higher just because she is Tina Fey.
And she has 9 Emmys, like
and the fact that and the idea of her winning another Emmy this time for hosting SNL does not. She's won for hosting SNL several times.
Twice.
2 years ago.
Yeah. But the bar for her is set so high that it just was a little disappointing. Whereas Tiffany Haddish really exceeded anything that we might have expected, especially with her delivery.
And that's my thing. Like, if Tiffany Haddish weren't in this category, I would rank Tina Fey higher. It's just the fact that, I mean, look, like we've said a bajillion times, SNL did not even submit her. She submitted herself, and she got nominated. That's, how much.
That was a mistake. I think
I agree.
Other like the drama guest actress for that woman really decided that she should be nominated.
Yep.
I agree.
I'm like, what the heck?
I'm just saying it's like, that's how popular she was, not just on that program, but I think how popular she is right now. I mean, she is like the hot new thing, and really damn funny too. Like,
she's the it girl, and I mean, when she got Kate McKinnon to break, when she made that ad lib joke, I was like,
and let me tell you,
she did it.
As somebody who has met the woman one time, very briefly, she is one of the most charming people I've ever met in my life. She just lights up a red carpet. She lights up a room. She's funny and engaging. And, you know, that kind of stuff really does help when you're trying to win a Hollywood award, you know, like how you campaign and work the room. I think it's what got her nominated, and I think it's what could help her win.
She's had such a great year, and I really, really like her. So let's go top 3, starting with you, Charles, again.
My top 3. Let me see here. I would say right now 3 Molly Shannon, 2 Jane Lynch, 1 Tiffany Haddish.
Are we all in agreement?
Yeah, and that's what makes me really worry about Tiffany Haddish.
Well, let me ask you this. Hold on a second. Let's talk about this overall comedy race as a whole. Let's say Jane Lynch wins. We're not surprised. But let's say Bryan Cranston wins comedy guest actor. Does that make The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel look better? Because he's basically taking down the star of Atlanta and their guest acting nomination. Could it possibly?
I don't think it has any effect on the rest of the field. I think
let's say Cat Williams and Jane Lynch win. Then do we really got a race on our hands?
I'm biting my nails.
Yeah, we do.
Then, if that's
what,
that would be so cool.
I mean, I can envision a scenario where, like, I mean, you know, just looking at the acting categories in the primetime one, like Donald Glover wins lead, Rachel Brosnahan wins lead, Henry Winkler wins supporting, and you know, we're all just like, "Ooh, what's
Alex Borstein?" Sorry.
Yeah, like
maybe, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, I think Amanda, you want to close this out?
So anyone else? Final thoughts? Comedy guest actress.
It concerns me that we're all picking Tiffany Haddish because I really want to see her win. And whenever we're in agreement on something, it very rarely happens for the
especially in the guest categories.
But let me ask you this: across SNL, who was the host of the year?
Tiffany Haddish.
Okay, I love Tiffany Haddish, but for me, it was John Mulaney.
Well, he's not nominated, Charlie.
You asked who was the host of the year. I gave you an answer. It may not be the one you like, but I gave you an answer.
No, I mean that's fair. That's fair.
It's fair because Charlie, it really is one of the better written episodes because he had something to do with it.
And he was a writer, and like one of the sketch that everyone was talking about.
Stefan, so
and the sketch that everyone talks about from that is the Diner Lobster sketch was one he had written years ago, but hadn't gotten in.
But with SNL, we've got their news anchors hosting. They swept these categories last year. They didn't have a dip in nominations as many as most of us were expecting. Do you think they're going to take at least one of these, if not both?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, an SNL host has won this category 2 years in a row, so it's kind of hard to think that they won't again. You know,
if they had nominated weaker hosts, then maybe somebody else can get in. But I think they'll take them both.
And NBC will have to apologize to Tiffany Haddish. So
submit her next year.
Yeah, have her back.
She claims it on their time.
Have her back. So stay with Gold Derby. We'll see what happens at the Creative Arts Emmys.